Since the ancient times, performers have always used makeup. In theater, however, the distance separating the actors from the audience allows the use of more coarse trickery, and that's why the great revolution of makeup techniques begins with the birth of cinema, when the camera gets closer to the actors. The first great movie makeup artist comes from the theater. His name is Cecil Holland, and he is an English actor emigrated to Hollywood. He is the one to conceive the makeup of the blind character in The Love Light. After removing the white skin stuck inside the shell of a boiled egg, he divides it in two and places the white discs obtained on the eyes of the actor. The result is impressive. The eyes seem white due to the disease. In 1927, Holland founds the first Hollywood makeup department at MGM. Afterwards, harnesses the eyes of Boris Karloff by pasting pieces of celluloid in front of his eyelids and turns him into Fu Manchu for the mask Fu Manchu. Baptized at his debut as the Man of a Thousand Faces, Holland ends up giving this formula as a gift to another actor and makeup artist, Lon Chaney, the human chameleon. Leonidas F. Chaney is born in 1883 in Colorado Springs. He communicates with his deaf and mute parents through the mimic devices that he will later use in his work. He approaches the acting art at his brother's theater, where he learns to put on makeup by himself. His makeup bag contains cotton, blush and pencils, malleable wax, colored powder, and a bottle of collodion. This medical product, also called nitrocellulose, is a blend of cotton in colored powder, alcohol, and ether. Applied to the skin, it forms a film that serves as a provisional basis. Chaney learns how to create wrinkles, scars, and burns that allow him to change his face whenever he wants to. In fact, he's the one who manages to snatch the role of Quasimodo, and does it by whitening his eyebrows with cotton and collodion, applying a deformed eye over his own one, and using an 18 kilograms latex hump. Then comes the part of Eric, for which he disfigures his face with a fake skull, raises the cheekbones with implants made of cotton and collodion, gets false fangs, and compresses his nose upward. Then, Chaney gives life to other surprising characters, as the beggar without legs who he plays by attaching his ankles to his thighs. The father of monsters, though, is Jack Pierce, who in 1931 is in charge with conceiving Frankenstein. In the absence of a precise description in the novel written by Mary Shelley, he gets inspired by the real brain surgeries in which the doctors usually remove the top of the patient's skull. To emphasize the effect, he adds metal hooks to the head of the monster. The actor is immobilized for 6 hours in an armchair. Pierce then covers the actor's hair with a cap and builds a square forehead made of cotton soaked in collodion. Afterwards, builds him also eyelids made of wax. When the actor finally gets up from his chair, he seems to be the very embodiment of Mary Shelley's monster. The following year, Pierce gives life to the mummy. He cooks tissue bandages in the oven in order to make them older and more fragile. Then encircles the body of the actor with 3 layers of crossed bandages covered with clay and glue, and also cover his face with a layer of cotton soaked in collodion. After a rest period, deep wrinkles start to appear around the actor's mouth, as if the skin had actually been mummified. On his hair is applied a mix of clay and chalk. When the mummy comes back to life, you can see the bandages impregnated with clay breaking and falling like dust to the ground. Another of Pierce's great creations is the metamorphosis into a werewolf. The actor is immobilized at each stage of its transformation. The hands are joined by a dozen of small nails and a hidden holder supports the head. Pierce firstly applied the full makeup of the man-wolf, then he replaces it with a diluted version, with a less prominent snout and less hair. This process is repeated over 20 times, and the last stage is filmed 22 hours after the first one. Projected backwards and combined with crossfades, this transformation of the man-wolf amazes the audience. In 1939, Jack Dawn revolutionizes makeup techniques by inventing the first prosthesis made of latex film. In 1967, the makeup artist John Chambers introduces a radical transformation in the world of makeup. He sculpts the faces of a gorilla and of a chimpanzee and pulls out of them prostheses divided in 2 parts, one with the forehead, eyebrows and nose, and the second one with the chin. The faces have even false teeth to better project the monkeys' mouths. Another prestigious makeup artist who invented many revolutionary techniques is Dick Smith, who was responsible for the makeup of the centenarian Dustin Hoffman in The Little Big Man and of Marlon Brando in The Godfather, not to mention Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver and Linda Blair in The Exorcist. Rick Baker, on the other hand, works as an assistant to Dick Smith in The Exorcist and ends up realizing great works afterwards. An American Werewolf in London, for which he won an Oscar, the transformation of Eddie Murphy into a 250-kilo professing using a prosthesis and a special costume, and also the makeup of Jim Carrey for The Grinch. From the 80s till today, materials and technologies have sure evolved, but the basic techniques continue to be those transmitted by the great masters.
For the first time the South Magnetic Pole, another party reached the summit of a great active volcano, Mount Erebus. We made many interesting geological and scientific